Boys, we're rolling.
Right. Welcome back to Noot News. Tonight we're heading down to the zoo to report on Andrew the monkey, who is back where he belongs.
We both did that one. It was a bit of a interesting sort of situation. Not one that I was very fond to see, but one nonetheless.
I wasn't expecting it.
We also have a re-encounter with a very fishy fellow.
He is.
We have encountered this man before, and so have you, obviously. On the channel. What else have we got?
Obviously the weather's getting a bit wetter, so that means new sports for Alan to report on. But first I'd like to talk about, recently we were at a dinner, were we not?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't what it cracked up to be. Let's hear all about it. A few nights ago, Brody, myself and our lawyer Paul Goodman found ourselves at a TGI Friday's restaurant for dinner. We thought it was going to be an easy, uneventful night, just something peaceful, nice conversation with the lads, but that wasn't until we heard a man exclaim from across the restaurant, "These breadsticks are dry." Now we all turned over, of course, to see what all the fuss was about, and what we saw was about 6'1" man with glasses snapping a handful of breadsticks over his knee. Now we were all a little bit confused and shocked. I think Brody may have even gotten a bit frightened by the whole thing, but it was very strange, and we wondered why this may have been. Now the service that night wasn't too good. They may have been a bit understaffed. The food wasn't the greatest. It was a bit mediocre, but the breadsticks, of course, I don't see, they're just an appetizer there on the table. No reason to be upset about them. But what's strangest about this case is this man suits the description of the three-nipple murderer. Now, we believed him to possibly be behind bars at this point, or at least in holding cells getting transferred to hide different prisons. We previously reported on the trial of the three-nippled murderer, so it couldn't have been him, right? But what if it was? If anybody else has any leads about this, feel free to contact us. Now, as I was saying about the service at TGI Fridays, it left some to be desired, and it was a bit expensive, so I do understand this man's frustration, criminal or not, I do get it. But the good thing about me now currently reporting on this story is I can write that off as a business dinner now. Me, Paul, Brody, we get to split the dinner between us for a whole lot less. Anyway, back to you boys.
Now, we did have dinner with us and then Paul Goodman.
Yes.
Although it was an entirely enjoyable experience, as you have just heard.
Not just that, I wasn't really wrapped in the salmon I had.
Yeah, you got sick from it, didn't you?
I did. I was feeling a bit under the weather. I had to take a couple of days off.
Yes, I didn't see you for about half a week. My pasta was alright. It could have had a lot more flavour to it. And then obviously there was dessert at the end, which I swear could have given me diabetes.
It was a bit rich. I must say though, Paul Goodman, tenders, chips, tomato sauce. They can't stuff that up.
He was having a dinner from back in primary school.
Yeah.
He could not go, and this is for the record, he needed to have his sauce.
He specifically requested to the
He
waiter
specifically
tomato
requested
sauce, man.
tomato sauce, yes.
But I digress, because you know what does taste good? The sponsor of today's video. Let's have a look.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Wilkenstein. I'm the CEO of Cookies and Milk Dairy Company. You know, I heard what that dirty Mohammed did to Noot, leaving them with no milk. I mean, how is someone supposed to live like that? So this is where I come in. Like I said, I'm the CEO of Cookies and Milk Dairy Company, and I am proud to announce that I will be the new milk supplier for Noot. Oh, how wonderful. You see, we here at Cookies and Milk Dairy Company supply only the finest milk, milk straight from Brazil with Canadian cows. Oh, don't tell anyone, that's our secret. But we also have a secret ingredient in our milk, which means your cookies no longer crumble and fall into the glass of milk. Oh, it is wonderful being able to eat cookies finally and not have to worry about getting all the crumbs in your glass of milk. This is the most annoying thing ever. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm just so excited. Okay, well, it was lovely to meet you all, and I'm so proud to be the main milk supplier for Noot. Thank you, everybody.
Boy, does that look tasty. I'm just glad that we were chosen to be able to have this as our sponsor.
After Moo Moo Milk, I'm glad we've got a much better dairy provider. And who doesn't love some cookies?
I personally really like a white chocolate cookie.
I just prefer choc chip, but I think double choc chip is too much.
Double chunk chocolate cookie?
It's too much.
Yeah, well, sure the Costco guys could tell you that.
I suppose so.
Now, next matter of business.
Andrew the monkey.
A not so promising story. Hopefully one that will end up having a promising sort of ending. But right now it's still a bit unfortunate.
So far, there hasn't really been much of an outcome except terror, chaos, havoc.
Yes, well, we and a special surprise, one of our previous co-hosts, who is now our weather guy, temporarily I believe,
Yes.
as he's an extremely busy schedule, and it was like fighting tooth and nail just to get him
I know, it was
to
hard to get
report
him out.
today. But that is the one, the only Bray,
Exactly.
who we around the studio like to call Boomerang, because no matter how many times he has to do other stuff, he always manages to find a way back to
He
Noot.
always does.
So, that being said,
We should have a look at what was happening down at the zoo, and we should hear what Bray had to say about the weather. Let's have a look.
We are here outside the enclosure of Andrew the monkey, which there is a clear lack of our fellow primate. Yes. He had been having a bit of a rampage and a fiasco in local areas. Seth had reported on that. Did you want to...
I'll say a couple things. So yeah, he's not just here because of a lack of him in the zoo. The problem today lies where he is in the zoo. Obviously, he had escaped a couple weeks back and he was found. Obviously, I said you spotted him on the bus. Actually.
Yes, on my trip back from the central markets, which I believe he had been shopping for some bananas. Well, we can't really say shopping because the man doesn't have any money. No monkey money.
He doesn't. He was up to some monkey business in the central markets, but so obviously he was found after that story. He was very public about that. The zoo officials found him, but they've put him in a correctional facility. And that has sparked a bit of controversy amongst the people now that he's back. He's not in his enclosure, which, by the way, smells, and we will cover that soon.
Yes, so his clear lack of appearance today in his enclosure because he has been quarantined, which has been causing, you described that as some pretty serious protesting.
Oh, it was rioting, really, out there. It was crazy earlier.
And, believe it or not, local authorities, in order to counteract that sort of protesting, or rioting, is a more appropriate way to put it, have been recycling old piss.
Yeah, they're not using water to hose down the protesters. They're using piss, and you can smell it. You can taste it in the air. It's horrible out here, really.
Yeah, we were having to go through and we walked past a maned wolf enclosure and the smell of it was so unbearable that they've actually had to relocate that wolf to a different area because it was that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't there, and now a lot of people have cleared out of the zoo, but it was just horrible out there. And the worst part, of course, that we will soon touch base on with our weather segment, it has caused floods, essentially. All the piss coming through has caused floods.
Piss floods?
Piss floods throughout Adelaide. It's not good.
That sounds catastrophic for local
You can hear the
ecosystems.
siren at the football match right now. They're evacuating the players because the ground is getting too drenched, I heard.
I thought you were about to say that there was a shindig going down.
No, I just got told before we started rolling by our producer that the water is too damp to play on. You bounce the ball, piss splashes. It's getting horrible out there.
That seems like a very clear health violation and danger for not only humans, but as we've clearly stated, animals alike.
Definitely. It's really affecting a lot of the animals here. The enclosures were left unlocked.
Yes, we actually we did find one. The door was actually unlocked. Don't ask us how we found out initially. It is not like we tried to open up the door, but it was unlocked, and there was a clear lack of, again, an animal.
Yeah. But that could be a future episode. What if that has got? We might have to report on that if that starts causing a stir about the place.
But one thing I did know and see, which is very, very lovely to see. We had gotten some tips that there was a Komodo dragon in a primary school.
Yeah.
And we saw that it has been returned. So maybe we might report on that a bit more, but we didn't catch it before it happened before.
Yeah. But in a sense, though, that is a good thing because you don't want to see a Komodo dragon eating any primary schoolers.
Yes, Komodo dragons are very dangerous, but we are going to send it over to our weather correspondent, Bray, who thankfully, in between his very busy schedule, has been able to make some time for us to report on the piss floods.
Let's take a look at what Bray had to say about this week's forecast.
Thanks for that one, Seth. We are currently in the slums of Newtown. We are at a sewage system. In roughly 7 or 8 hours, we might see a couple floods from Queensland. I am told, they are going to be piss floods. You better watch out, folks. We are currently also expecting rain in a day or two. Also going to be piss flood. We also have a couple of reports in homes around the area. They're getting piss water instead of water. You may expect this. Please do not drink the water. Anyway, that's all from me. We'll go back to the boys.
Thank you, Bray. Didn't you spend some time with him before he had to go off and record that segment?
Yeah, we went down to the drainage pipes together where the floods seem to have been echoing through, ready to burst out of there, which is very scary because that's going to ruin that ecosystem as well. They seem to be really, because we're in the heart of the city right now, and it seems to be spreading out through Adelaide is what's going to be happening.
Yeah, we are more located, our studio is located both, we have one both here, and then we've got a smaller one down more towards the coast, way down south, and it had even reached weird, but that's where Bray had reported, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was very close down to the beach, almost near the sands, and we were down there. It was good to see him in action again, that was for sure. It was very good to see him.
He was started with us with another one of our former co-hosts, which we hope to be having a return. He has also been a bit busy lately, and has been taking a bit of hiatus from the world of media, but we are most definitely trying to re-recruit him back into the world of Noot. So mind the overhead noise again. I'm sorry. That is how big of an emergency it is that people are having to be moved, and with a clear lack of roads due to flooding of it, they have had to be using some more expensive sort of modes of navigation.
Yeah. Also, I question the SRPD for using piss. That is bizarre.
Do you think, like we have previously reported on, that they being bought out by the Mogwai Mansion, that their payouts are being towards that, they are to be using that instead to clear out potential gang areas?
True. I wouldn't want to be, hanging about with a gang in some sort of piss stinking mansion.
We haven't been around the area of the Mogwai Mansion. Actually, I think we did. I think we were about a block away on our trip to here.
Yeah.
And it was a lot nicer around that area. And then as soon as we came over here, it was a lot more stronger and potent of a smell, and a lot more had happened.
Definitely. I mean, the protesters themselves have probably added to the weirdness in this area, but it definitely seemed a bit better. I didn't even notice it when we were driving past on our way to report on this.
Now, we don't know much about what is going to happen here. We know that eventually, I guess, nature is going to have to take its course, on the floods, which, as there is not much that the authorities are going to do to clean it up, and no one really has the stomach to do it themselves.
Definitely. Well, we are getting to more of a wet season, so hopefully we'll be getting a fair bit of rain that'll start to wash it away.
Now, on another statement of business for Noot, we've recently got business cards, haven't we?
We've made business cards, but one thing that I've been wondering, will this actually get Andrew the monkey back? Will he be returned to this exact enclosure?
All I know is that we are going to go around, hand out some of our new cards, and hope to try and get some sort of media gathering in order to protest still towards this matter, because as we clearly know it, this is our second, or we've talked about monkeys quite a bit on this channel.
This is our second outing of Andrew the monkey for sure.
Yeah, so we are definitely going to do what we can, and we hope that you will also try and support this matter.
And of course, remember, free Andrew.
We, a while ago, encountered a very fishy fellow.
Definitely.
Who had a unfortunate encounter with a
Alligator, crocodile.
Yeah, who...
At least it wasn't a Komodo dragon.
Yes. That hopefully we will get more into another day. Obviously, it's a lot of questionable information we've been receiving.
It's not the most reliable source.
But that being said, the fisherman, the man that we found in a chance encounter on the way from the studio one day.
Back.
He had gotten into an altercation, if you remember.
Yes.
And it tore his pants. You found him and
I did. I just happened to find myself down by. I was reporting on it. Well, we're not reporting. I was chasing up a lead that I had. It went nowhere. But point is that I found him, and I was sort of chatting with him, and I've given you some of the intel, and I believe that you've reported on it.
Yes, I have basically
told his story.
Summarised and just giving you guys a update, because some of you were a bit concerned on the matter. I mean, this guy had to buy new pants. I mean, who wouldn't want to? I mean, I at home have a pair of shorts that I usually go to.
Yeah.
So this is that story.
And at least it's a bit more of a happy ending than previously reported on with Andrew, that whole debacle.
Yes, and
anyway.
Other stories that haven't had much of a happy ending, like the ball band.
True.
We still haven't actually heard much about that.
I mean, everybody wants a happy ending.
Recently, Seth came into a bit of a close encounter. No? Alright. Seth ran into some fishermen that we were quite familiar with. If you remember, there was a story of two fishermen where one got attacked by a crocodile whilst fishing. Now, as you may know, he was alright, and Seth saw him, asked about what happened, and good thing is, there have been no croc attacks since. Where the croc went, I don't know. But, on the topic of weird little reptiles, there have been reports of Komodo dragons in schools. We obviously don't know if this is the case. We're going to report it more. It's all just hearsay at the moment. But we're on the topic of us looking for them when we're talking about our next sort of thing. This could be big, and we're chasing it as fast as we can. But otherwise, just going to have to wait and see. And now back to the studio.
Of course, our favourite rowdy Russians have pulled through.
Well, yes, but that being said, it was nice to see that the fisherman has recovered, obviously. But, that being said, our favourite rowdy Russians, as you said,
Radley and Bradley.
Bradley and Bradley. I don't think Brad likes being called Bradley. I'm pretty sure it's a bit of a touchy subject from what I remember. Now, they had a bit of a
Experiment.
Yes, it's not the first time they've done something like this, but this time we get to show you. Now, what we're about to show you is a bit not for the faint of heart. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wouldn't recommend doing this at home to
No.
anybody watching. Well, Rad and Brad, right? They're a jack of all trades, but they're professionals at this sort of thing. So I wouldn't recommend recreating this at home. Okay, we're advising you as newsmen looking out for the people to not do what you're about to see.
That being said, though, this is the Rowdy Russians and the trolley stupid stunt.
Let's have a look.
I'm Rad. I'm Brad. And tonight we're testing out the physics of a trolley. Trolley need brick to way front, like this. Once primed and ready, we head for the sheet. Let's go. Oh, Brad! The sheet!
Well, ouch. I think that brick must have had a painful.
It would have hurt a lot.
Yes. I mean, I feel like when they capsize. By the way, I actually have the same socks as Brad.
Really?
I realised that the other day when we saw this footage. And this is going to be a bit an odd situation. I'm wearing it just
See.
for filming day.
I prefer to go a more standard black, but you know, to each their own. So where do you and Brad find yourself shopping then?
I just go down to my local news agency and they sell some socks. I actually bought 2 new pairs of socks on the day of filming at the zoo.
Yes.
Yeah, you got your
Red
hat.
pandas. I did get it. I got a
Wasn't
very
it?
fashionable
Yes.
panda hat.
I got
You have to bear with me.
Yes, I got panda socks and red panda socks. One was a lot more plain and casual looking than
Yes.
the other. But I must say I do admire his sock choice. Though it was a bit interesting spot to put it in the clip.
Yes, very.
But that being said, so much about that made me laugh and it will
Definitely.
continue to do so. So I hope you guys had that same enjoyment and I hope that pain doesn't go unnoticed. And
Of course, they put a lot of effort into being Rad and Brad, so.
now, I'm pretty sure you heard that the crash crushed one of their arms.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I had overheard in.
Was it Rad or was it Brad?
I'm pretty sure it's Brad. I'm pretty sure when they crashed at the end, the trolley and the brick landed on his arm.
Oh, that's not a good combo.
No, you've had an incident like that one time when you were younger, a skateboarding incident. Didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
You're still pretty.
I still have the scar on my elbow.
Yeah, you crashed and the rest is history.
It really is.
Now, you mentioned before that the weather and
Speaking of things that are history, golf season's over now.
Mhm.
We will announce the winner. Well, Alan will announce the winner.
Yes, and it was good to see a couple of Happy Gilmore moments from our ADW stars.
Who doesn't love that movie?
Yes.
Second one is actually coming out soon.
You got it on DVD the other day.
We
You
did,
saw
I
it,
did, I
yeah,
did.
yeah. So, now, with it being colder and wetter, meaning that new sports are opening up for the season. Though, that being said, some are coming out again from the summer. They're just a bit different because most sports actually do have a summer and a winter season.
Yes.
But the top sport that we are going to be covering this season, throughout the winter season, is
Mud jump.
yes, puddle jumping. Now, not many people know this, But I have a family member who is a pretty big name in the puddle jumping sport.
He's more than a big name. He is a big man in the sport.
Now, I think you're pushing it a bit there, maybe.
I'll
But
get off it.
yes, I think you should. That being said, Big Bazza is his name, the
Big
puddle
Baz.
jump king, that we like to call him around, because I
He
actually
is.
haven't seen someone beat him. He
I
gets the
haven't yet.
most depth and the most speed to go under, and yet somehow he comes out basically like nothing you've ever seen before.
One thing it's just occurred to me, will the piss floods affect future matches? Luckily,
I think if they've got nose clips and a couple pair of goggles, I think it's going to make this a bit more interesting. The weather
it's going to affect the conditions. I think.
and the flooding, it's going to soften up the ground quite a lot more,
Definitely.
meaning larger and potentially deeper puddles.
Maybe next time you can tell us how Big Baz is adapting to the new situation of the grounds really. Anyway, let's have a look at what Alan has to say about Big Baz and other mud jumpers.
Now, as the weather grows colder, we must welcome new sports and say farewell to the old. Gary Cobbledick took home the trophy for this year and is now enjoying an early retirement. Winter is nearly here, and with it brings our favorite seasonal sport, mud jump. Earlier today, Bogbaza took to social media to post a clip of him training. Clearly, he's in excellent shape and may very well outdo his previous performance from last winter. On a final note, now the golf has ended, we won't be hearing from those pesky kangaroos.
He always has quite a thing to say, don't you think?
He's a very well-spoken penguin.
Now, I know that previously we have spoken about the whole Ice Block a Day charity fund, which seems to be doing quite a bit of help towards him, and in doing so, we actually haven't been seeing much of Alan recently because he's been spending so much time back at home doing what he needed to do, which we supported 110%. But it is great to see him back in the studio to give you guys the information you guys want.
Exactly. He actually sent in a photo of him and his sister and his mother and his kids. They're all hanging out. Maybe we'll show that photo if he allows us to. And yeah, so
it's been a pretty around the table sort of episode.
yes.
The zoo with Andrew. We've had another animal sort of in, but he's a bit more frequent. And,
he's not really
he's
part of it.
Yeah. He discussed with the mud jumping and the results of the golf. We also had.
We've had updates on, we've been able to give closure about some folk, some fishermen, even in a sense, Andrew is closure, because people worried that he was out and he was just like maybe deceased out there, but no,
That being said, it is not entirely the closure we wanted. We were hoping that he would be,
because people
brought
think
back
he's safe,
home,
but he
but
may
no.
not be safe in the correctional facility.
yeah, he could be. Not that we're saying we are, that he is. We would never sort of cause any more sort of
We don't want
pain
to
or
add fuel
suffering
to the
towards.
fire.
Yes, but we also don't know, so we can't give you any information that could be false. Now, TGI Fridays, not really for us, but doesn't mean we're going to go and do what's happening with the piss floods and start a protest.
We're not going to protest TGI Fridays.
It wasn't for us. That's that. We'll keep that in mind. Doesn't mean you guys can't try it for yourself.
Of course, just don't expect the best service.
No.
Suppose what we can recommend is the chicken tenders, the fries, and the tomato sauce. Call that one the Paul Goodman special.
Yes, I think so. I think that's a pretty well wrap
That is a
of
good
today's episode, and I know that tonight I'm going to be feasting on some cookies.
Of course it isn't, and maybe we might even be playing a couple rounds of the new Star Wars Fortnite season.
Ooh, I like the
How
sounds
about a
of
cheers
that.
to that?